Welcome to lecture series on the course Foundation of Mathematics. This is lecture 13 and in this lecture we will be discussing the notion of graph of a function. Given a function f from x to y, the graph g of f, that is a notation for the graph of a function of f, is a subset of x cross y defined by the set of all the collection ordered pair of the form x comma y such that y is equal to f of x. Now, more generally, if this x and y is a subset of R, we can plot the graph on this R2 dimensional R2 plane as this becomes the graph becomes simply a subset of R cross R, that is R2. So, we can easily plot it. So, if x and y is a subset of R, we can plot the graph on this R2 plane. Now, when we do this, we always need to remember that the domain varies on this x axis and the codomain varies on this y axis. Okay. So, if f is from a subset of R to a subset of R, we can very easily draw the graph of the function, very easily plot the graph of the function on this plain paper. Now, the question is, given a subset of R2, say S, subset of R cross R, will we be able to find a subset x of R and a function f such that f from x to R is a function. In general, this is not true. We can produce a subset of R2 which cannot be a graph of any function, such that f from we will not be able to find any f such that f from x to R is a function. But given a subset of R2, we can have a test called as the vertical line test to check whether the given subset is a subset of a particular function. So, we see that as a definition in this. So, suppose S is a subset of R2. If every vertical line in R2 intersects S at most once, then S is the graph of the function. Now, this comes directly to the definition of the functions. We know that, see, basically this is something like this. Suppose we have this a subset of R2, say S, which after plotting it looks like this. If every vertical line in R2 intersects S at most once, so vertical line means a line parallel to y axis. So, you draw a vertical line this way. Say if I call this as my vertical line, okay. So, as we see, when we keep on moving this vertical line, now since this is a graph of a function, you can see that it intersects this graph or coincide this graph at most once. If it coincides more than once, then it is not a graph of any function, because if it coincides more than once, then what will happen is that on that particular domain, that particular point where the function, where the vertical line coinciding the graph twice, that particular point has two images, which is not valid in a function, and that is the reason. Now, it may not intersect at all. So, in that case, that part of vertical line is not a part of a domain. So, in that case, it is not going to intersect anywhere on the function. So, in such a case, how to determine the function and its domain? So, this we would see through an illustrative example. So, we look this as our first example, the set of point on the circle, unit circle x square plus y square is equal to 1. The question is it a graph of any function? So, we first plot a graph of this. What it is saying is that x and y is varying over the R2, whole R2. So, x is coming from R2, R, y is coming from R, and x square plus y square is equal to 1 is a circle, unit circle. So, we have this. Now, you can very easily say that if I draw any line on this interval, that is -1 to 1, it is going to intersect the graph. This is this blue arc is actually the given set, this set. Okay. So, if I call this as my S, then this blue line is my S, blue curve is an S. So, if you draw a vertical line anywhere on this interval -1 to 1, so in fact, if you can produce at least one vertical line which intersects the curve at least twice, then it is not a function. So, here you can see that I have produced one line which intersects over here as well as which coincide the S, the point of S here as well as here. Okay. So, maybe except at -1 and 1 it is intersecting at least exactly once, but within that interval it is, you can see that you draw any vertical line, it is going to intersect, that vertical line is going to intersect at least twice. Okay. And therefore, this is not a S is not a graph of a function. So, this is how we identify whether the given graph is a graph of a function or not. Now, next thing, however, this same set S can be modified such that it becomes a graph of a function. Just look at this example. Consider the semicircle x comma y in R2 such that x square plus y square is equal to 1, y is greater than or equal to 0. Either you can take y greater than or equal to 0 or y less than or equal to 0. Is it a graph of any function? So, first we need to determine whether it is a graph of any function by the vertical line test, and if it is, then we also determine the function of the graph. So, here is a graph of the function, y is positive. So, y is varying only on the first and the second quadrant. So, only the top part is considered. So, this the down part of the circle is not considered, and you can see that you draw any vertical line over this x axis, it is intersecting only once to this blue curve. Okay. So, this is your S in this case, and therefore, this is a function. So, here S this is a graph of the some function. Now, how to determine the function? What is the condition that is given is that x square plus y square is equal to 1. Now, as we know that y is varying over this y axis, so the value of this y determines the function. So, what we will do is that we would write down this as y square is equal to 1 minus x square in terms of y. So, when we find the square root of this y, and since you know that y is it takes only positive value, this is going to be a positive square root 1 minus x square. So, that is a value of the function. Therefore, in this case I can define a function f from x to y. So, f from in this case the domain would be, you can either consider, you will have to consider -1 to 1 because you are including the point -1 comma 1. So, -1 to 1. As you can see that, see how to construct a domain, you see what part of this x axis is covered by this curve. Okay. So, you can see over here it covered only -1 to 1. So, if you draw any line in this region, it is going to intersect the curve exactly once. Okay. And therefore, we take, since also -1 and 1 is included, at which the value of y will become 0, we also include -1 and 1. So, f is a function from -1 to 1 2. Now the codomain is your in this case it's some subset of R plus. So you take R plus. In fact, it is any subset containing this 0 comma 1. So R plus defined by f of x is equal to root of 1 minus x square is a function for this graph. So let us see one more example to the definition. So once we define the graph of the function, we can define the term maximum and minimum of functions. This is n, by the way, maximum, and there is a spelling error, a and d. So let x be a non-empty set. F and g are the function defined on the same domain x to r, and the codomain is r. The maximum denoted as max of f comma g and the minimum denoted as minimum of f comma g of f and g are function from x to r defined as maximum. So this is the function evaluated at the value x is nothing but the maximum of f of x comma g of x, and this is a very well defined term because we can see that this will give you only a unique value, either f of x or g of x, a maximum among them, and being f and g are function, this is a very well defined function. Similarly, minimum of f comma g at x is same as minimum of f of x comma g of x. Okay, so let's see some examples of the maximum minimum of function. Plot the graph of maximum of f comma g and minimum of f comma g where f of x is equal to x and g of x is equal to minus x defined on the minus in closed interval minus 2 comma 2. So here the domain we are considering as minus 2 comma 2. So we are going to restrict this f of x for x on minus 2 comma 2 and g of x for x on minus 2 comma 2. So first we plot the graph for f and g. So let's see the graph of f and g. These are standard graph. So the green colored graph is for f of x equal to x, and the red one is for g. However, this is not infinitely moving because here we are restricting our domain to minus 2 to 2, and so the graph will end here. So these are the only part of the graph. Okay, so these are the only part of the graph, the end part. Okay, now we want to construct the maximum and the minimum of these two graphs. Okay, so to construct the maximum of the graph, we need to first observe these two graphs, and we need to split the x axis in such a way that in one area one of the graph is maximum, the other one is minimum. Like in this case, if you see here the domain is minus 2 to 2. Now if you start from the left hand side, if you move from minus 2 to 0, you can see that the graph f of x and g of x varies. They are not same, and at a point x equal to 0 they coincide. So we would see the behavior of f of x and g of x in this interval first, and then from 0 to 2 you can see that they are changing the direction. So as when we are in the region minus 2 to 0, we see that this g of x, the graph in straight line, is a maximum, whereas f of x in green is a minimum. And so when we move from 0 to 2, you see that f of x is dominating g of x, and therefore f is maximum and g is minimum in this case. Okay, so one can define maximum of f of x in this way, f comma g in this way. So we would split this into two intervals. First, when x varies from minus 2 to 0, here I can include the point 0 because at 0 both the graph are equal. So no matter where you include that 0. And the next region is when x is varying from 0 to 2. Once you include it over here, you may not include 0, you may not include 0 in the second case. So 0 strictly less than x, less than or equal to 2. In this region we see that the maximum is g of x, and in this region we see that maximum is f, so f of x. So that's how the graph is defined, maximum is defined. So you substitute the value of g is same as in the region minus 2 to 0, it is minus x. So when x is varying from minus 2 to 0, and it is x when x is varying from, okay, by the way, this is minus 2. This is minus 2 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 0. And similarly, one can define minimum of f comma g. Okay, by the way, this is evaluated at x. The domain will remain same. So these are the function. In fact, one can write these are the function from minus 2 comma 2 to r, and same way minimum is also function from minus 2 comma 2 to r. And so again you split this into region when x lies in between minus 2 and 0, and when x lies in between 0 and 2. So when x lies in between minus 2 and 0, you can see that this green part is the minimum. So that is the function f of x. So that's f of x. And when x lies in between 0 and 2, this red part is the minimum. So that is the function g of x. And so this is same as x when x lies in between minus 2 and 0, and minus x when 0 is less than x, less than or equal to 2. So here also there is one more example. Plot the graph of maximum of f comma g and the minimum of f comma g, where f of x is equal to x square, g of x is equal to x cube, defined on minus 2 comma 2. You can draw the rough diagram of f, g, but you need to know where they coincide. So if I consider x square and x cube in the domain minus 2 comma 2, they coincide at 0 and 1, right? So yeah, but they do not coincide at minus 1, because at minus 1 f, the value of f of x is 1 and the value of g of x is minus 1. So let's look at the graph first. So whichever is in green is your f of x, and whichever is in red is your g of x, that is x cube. We know that f is even function, x square is an even function. So the graph of that function will lie in first two quadrant, and the graph of g of x will lie in first and third quadrant. So again your first task is to split the region so that you can determine the maximum and minimum. By the way, this graph will go till minus 2, so that is till minus 8, and this will go till 4. Okay, this will go till 4. Again same way over here, because we have only till 2. So we see how do we first split the region. So first you see that the graph has two behavior, graph has the distinct behavior when we vary x from minus 2 to 0, and at 0 they coincide. So when x is varying from minus 2 to 0, this green part is dominating, and so that becomes the maximum of f and g, and this red part is below this green, and so it becomes minimum. Again you know that the graph is coinciding at this x equal to 1. So the graph has different pattern when x lies in between 0 to 1, and graph again has different pattern when x lies in between 1 and 2. So you would split the region again from 0 to 1 and 1 to 2. When x lies in 0 to 1, you see that this green part is the maximum and this red part is the minimum. Similarly, when x lying from 1 to 2, you see that the red part is dominating and the green part is below x. In fact, x cube is moving faster than x square in this region 1 and 2, from 1 to 2. So, we write down the graph maximum of, by the way, the domain of maximum of f comma g would remain same as f and g. So, that is minus 2 to 2 to r, and so maximum of f comma g is defined as at any point x, where x lies in the interval minus 2 to 2. First you would split the region. So, first you split the region from minus 2 to x to 0 and 0 x to 1 and 0 to 1 to x to 2. And so, in this region the maximum is the green function, that is f of x. So, that is x square, I would directly substitute, and in this region the maximum is again the greener part, that is x square, and in the last part when x lies in between 1 and 2, the maximum is x cube. Okay, so in fact you can again, since you know that this can be continued from minus 2 to 1, if you want you can make it more compact. You can write down this as minus 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1, because they have the same value over the interval, and this is same as x cube when 0 is less, strictly less than x. Yeah, here this should have been 1 to 2, I am sorry for this. And here, since I am considering the equality over here, there is no equality over here, 1 to x to less than or equal to 2. Similarly, one can write down the graph for the minimum of f comma g, that I would leave it as an exercise. So, that is all about this session. In the next session, we will discuss some more properties of the functions. So, in fact, more broader version of function we would discuss. So, stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching this video.